Here we go again. Well, Easy Peasy uploaded another Steven Universe video, so I guess I have to respond to this one too. But first, I just want to mention something. After I uploaded the previous video on Easy Peasy, I was contacted by my friend Pablo R, who said that Easy Peasy is a troll and that I have successfully been trolled. And while I don't believe this for several reasons I'm not getting into here, as the video is not about this, I feel I should at least mention the possibility that he is one. Anyway, with that out of the way, on to the actual video. If you watched my last video, you'll know that Easy Peasy is an ass who believes that Rebecca Sugar created a cartoon full of LGBT propaganda to turn kids gay. That's not even a joke, it's what he said.
What we don't do in developed countries is allow a group of 20-year-old idiots who can't even write a basic story arc or keep their own metaphors consistent to make a propaganda film for toddlers. But somehow, thanks to nepotism and diversity hires, one little Joseph Goebbels managed to slip by and create a cartoon where 90% of the population is gay. Yeah, so this happened. This is the voice actor of Steven, and after hanging out with these people for an extended period of time, being around them basically turned him gay.
Watch my last video. This video will be written in a way that assumes you have seen the previous video. Here's a card to watch it. Let's watch this new video to see what exactly he dislikes about Steven Universe, the movie.
So, the movie starts with a cliche opening of a curtain to the sound of knockoff Disney music.
Not all musical openings are knockoff Disney. In fact, the Disney style is just knockoff musical.
So before we get too far into this, I'd just like to say I will not be talking about the animation quality in this video because there's really nothing to say about it. Besides, it's exactly as bad as it is in the show.
TV movies are hardly ever given any more budget than it would take to just make an hour-long episode of the show. That's an exaggeration, but you're not about to see Klaus-style animation for a TV movie.
But all of the rest of it is just good old ugly Steven Universe.
And now he's showing smear frames as examples of bad animation. Truly groundbreaking stuff here, folks!
Now, over back of the book opening, we begin hearing the first of many, many, many songs. And also, the one that is probably the worst in the entire bunch.
As much as I want to disagree with him on the story of Steven being the worst song of the bunch, I really can't. I know I said,
and this is my favorite song in the entire movie, and it's currently in the running as my favorite song in the entire series.
I understand this is all objective, but come on. This is the most boring song in the whole movie. But this opinion is valid. Now his opinion on most of the songs being bad or unnecessary on the other hand.
You see, Steven Universe is a musical of sorts, probably because almost everyone on staff looks like they used to be part of a hipster indie folk band, and things just didn't work out, so they're channeling their broken dreams of a music career into this show now instead.
And here's the start of the main themes of the video, you could say. One is saying that the Crewniverse are using Steven Universe to vent about their past, and the other one is him making shit up to criticize.
Most of the songs in this movie are bad. Unnecessary or both.
A song isn't really unnecessary in a musical. That's just not how musicals work. And even if I broaden my definition of unnecessary, none of the songs would fit that either.
And there was no reason to make this a musical, really. Besides the fact that the people on the show's staff like making music and don't really care if the audience wants to listen to it or if it's good.
First of all, isn't making what you want to make and sticking to your creative direction a good thing for a show? And besides, the main demographic for the show is the fans who love the Steven Universe songs and not overly cynical assholes like you.
The first song really is amazingly bad. It's literally the Diamonds singing about how much they and everyone else in the entire universe loves Steven and how great he is. At a later point, I began thinking that maybe this song is intended to be like that, as one of the film's themes is Steven resting on his laurels because he thinks everything has been resolved and being resentful of having to do any more work, but I'm still 50-50 on this being intentional, or if the creators of the show just honestly created a character that is their ideal man, which is to say, fragile and obsessed with his emotions, and then made this scene to sing the praises of their own creation.
I can almost guarantee that they did not make Steven their idealistic man and then make a song about how he's great as a way to tell everyone that he's their idealistic man. Also, you say sensitive about his emotions like that's a negative. What toxic masculinity can do to a man.
Either way, the song's most hilarious line is when they sing that Steven is always putting others first, which is decidedly not what he does or has ever done. And the crew's continual belief that it is a key component of one of the main problems with this movie and indeed the entire show. Steven never puts other people first beyond the most superficial way.
I'm gonna use the same clip I used in the last video to show you why that's wrong. Does this seem like someone who puts himself over others?
I get it now! I'm the only one who can stop what she started! I can stop all of it! She wouldn't have wanted this, but I do. Steven. No! Don't you dare! I love you. No! Stop!
It is sexual assault, to grab a woman's private parts without her consent. Consent is not imposing your will on someone and having them just not resist. If you don't consent to sexual activity, it's not legal.
Fusion is not sex. How many fucking times do we have to go over this, dude? I know that you didn't watch my video and just left a nasty comment, but come on.
And then they attack them, because if you've already gone this far, you might as well attempt regicide.
They never actually try to harm the diamonds here.
In this specific episode, Blue and Yellow instantly throw away the beliefs that they've held for millennia and help Steven fight for the things that just an hour ago they found disgusting enough to commit murder over.
Yeah, I kinda have to agree with him on this point. The ending to Steven Universe was very poorly thought out and extremely rushed.
It's amazing how fucking in love and subservient the diamonds are to Steven. The writers really do see this character as some sort of god amongst men. All he needed to do was make White blush once and their entire society comes crumbling down. But I actually don't have much problem with this, since at least it's a realistic depiction of how a society where only women exist would find itself groveling at the feet of the first man they ever met within a single day. This movie starts after a 2-year time skip, and begins with Steven having just finished getting the diamonds to disband the army and stop killing people for no reason, which is something they should have been able to do instantly, and were willing to do right at the end of the show, which was canonically again 2 years ago. So why didn't they just do it at that moment?
They did, but Steven's leaving and they're trying to get him to stay by listing off the good things they've done over the past 2 years.
As far as we know, there are no other sapient races in the universe.
They don't know that. We don't either.
It's still not clear why they needed Earth in the first place, since they could have made gems anywhere in the cosmos. Why did they go specifically to the one planet that already had life?
They've been doing that to other planets for so long. They say that in the show. Earth is not the only colony. How can you be this dense?
And what are they supposed to do now? After all, destroying planets is the only way they are able to reproduce, so it's still not clear how the diamonds were even actually bad.
Gems live forever, and even if they don't, they'll probably invent a way to grow gems without destroying planets. I think you're just racist.
So Steven talks to Connie, who's going to space camp at age 14. I don't know, is this normal in America? I don't live there. Isn't she a bit too old? I don't know.
This is an actual space camp. She's going to camp. She's going to scamp. Yes, she's going to scamp. This is an actual space camp. She's going to camp in space. At least I think.
Then we have the best moment in the entire movie when she kisses Steven and they both blush, proving he isn't gay and giving the entire fanbase an aneurysm at the sight of Sugar daring to promote heteronormativity.
Literally everyone in the Steven Universe fanbase ships Converse. Or Steven Al, but we don't talk about those people on this channel. Also, having one straight couple in your show does not promote heteronormativity. That's just not how that works.
Okay, so right after that, we get to the next pointless song, which is by far the most unnecessary, where the main cast summarize the plot of the entire show as if anyone who watches this movie doesn't already know it, and as if anyone who actually doesn't know it would be able to understand anything from this 2-minute song that is a condensed version of like 200 episodes.
The point of the song is to summarize the plot. It's to establish that the crystal gems have gone soft in a way. They believe they are in there happily ever after and nothing will go wrong ever again. Also, plenty of people got their start with the movie.
Also, Steven is finally not fat, and Amethyst has a boob window in her shirt, so overall I actually like the direction this movie is going in.
Funny fat-phobic jokes, man. Totally don't believe that you hate fat people. Also, gems don't have boobs, despite what the porn artists would have you believe. Why are you showing Steven L on screen?
Oh, I have a question!
Yeah?
Were you guys ever babies?
Definitely not.
Uh-oh. Stinky.
That's not a baby Amethyst. She's exactly the same size, but she just popped out of the ground. She's just confused.
On the plus side, we get to see what it looks like when a bunch of people who hate fight scenes hate fights and want to make a show where all conflict is resolved without fighting, get a show greenlit by pretending it's going to have lots of fights in it, and then begrudgingly have to animate a couple of them.
Spinell's just using her powers in an interesting way. Don't act like it's some terrible animation error or something.
Someone suggests that they should ask the diamonds how to reverse the effects of the weapon that made everyone lose their memory. But Steven doesn't want to talk to the diamonds because they're creepy and want to fuck him. So as soon as someone suggests this, Lapis chimes in saying that Steven has healing powers, so he should be able to figure this out, which is a complete non sequitur.
That is not what Lapis says. Lapis says that if anyone would be able to fix it, it'd be the guy with healing powers. Remember what I said about making shit up to complain about? I'll give this one the benefit of the doubt and believe that maybe he just heard wrong and didn't watch the movie for a second time to fix mistakes like this before calling the whole movie trash. You know, regular things. Funny how I wrote this whole line during my second watch through of your 40-minute video.
So instead of doing what's easy and obvious, Steven comes up with the plan of trying to make all of his friends relive the entire 10,000 years of their lives, which will somehow fix them.
Having characters with amnesia relive their memories to try and bring back their memories is a memory loss trope.
They threaten Ruby and Sapphire with murder to try and force them to have gem sex.
I'm really getting sick and tired of saying that fusion isn't sex, so I'm just not going to anymore. Probably.
This fails because Steven is too much of a pussy and can't hurt them even to save them. But again, things magically work themselves out so that Steven doesn't have to do things that he doesn't like.
This ends with Sapphire fusing with him to save him, so again, Steven fails to do something he doesn't like, even if it's to save his surrogate mothers, and again, the problem resolves itself so he doesn't have to, and doesn't have to deal with any of the consequences either.
Steven wasn't there the first time they fused, so he actually doesn't have to be there for it to happen. Sure, it would probably make it easier, but I wouldn't want to threaten my amnesic mother with a giant pizza cutter. Also, that's a lot of he's for a female character. Also, one reason why Ruby might not move out of the way is because I wrote he for Ruby too! Oh my god! Fuck! No, I just wrote a lie about that! Oh my god. Also, one reason why Ruby might not move out of the way is because she's shocked about how Sapphire said I wrote he again! Also, one reason why Ruby might not move out of the way is because she's shocked about how Sapphire said she would literally die, rather than her just saying, oh yeah, shit's about to fall, bro. Watch out.
They are informed by Peridot that the drill is seeping poison into the ground and that it will destroy all life on Earth in about 41 hours once all the poison is drained. So it's a good thing that Steven just wasted several of those hours riding a train for fun.
He wasn't doing it for fun, he was doing it to get Amethyst's memories back. It's not like he knew that the drill was seeping poison into the ground.
Then Steven tries to rip the drill out of the ground and no one tries to stop him, even though they tell him immediately afterwards that it was rigged to speed up or explode if you touch it.
Steven literally wasn't listening to them. How are they supposed to tell him anything? The drill would not be visible in this shot. You're just making shit up to criticize again. Do you know what perspective is?
But they have to have a concert because watching a music show will, in some vague way, contribute to Pearl getting her memories back.
They're trying to get Pearl to become rebellious, and what has better rebellious themes than a rock show? Especially with a song called Disobedient. Also, the rock stage doubles as a shelter, and Steven thinks that they'll be safe there.
Honestly, this is just a very contrived excuse for them to put more shitty songs into the movie that sound like they wrote them anyway and wanted to use them for something at some point and just figured, you know, let's just put them here.
Disobedient is in-universe a song by Sadie Killer, so it's obviously not going to have any plot-relevant lyrics.
So they go to the concert and we get to hear another song, yet another fucking song by Sadie about hating having to work a retail job, and it becomes ever more clear that someone on this show's staff had to work as a cashier at Walmart at some point in their lives, and they really need to get over it and stop using the show as an outlet to complain about it. Like, it was just a shitty job, okay? There are rape victims who aren't as traumatized by what happened to them as whoever it is on this show that keeps inserting these songs into it, okay? You have to work at McDonald's, just get over it.
That's the whole point of Sadie Killer! She worked a terrible job!
Next, we have the creepiest moment in the entire series as Steven and his dad fuse, creating a muscular, human, sweaty sex doll with a noticeably large bulge in his pants.
I honestly don't see how you could think that's a bulge. Like, you'd have to be staring there to even notice that, and it's not even a bulge. Wait. Unless...
Had to put one tranny joke in them.
Being around them basically turned him gay.
Liking Steven Universe is literally worse than autism, who's the worst one because she's white.
Here again, I'd like to remind everyone that fusion is a metaphor for sex. In fact, it's not just a metaphor, it literally is sex. It's gem sex. I'm willing to concede that maybe it isn't always sex, but this is a children's show, so it should never be sex.
Fusion doesn't equal sex, you fucking troglodyte. Fusion is a representation of a relationship between two people. To quote a random YouTube comment I found, fusion isn't love, nor is it an amorous feeling. Pearl and Amethyst didn't love each other for a good long while, but formed opal. Fusion is merely the physical representation of a bond. Garnet's is love, yes, but Amethyst and Steven's bond is a pariah of their people, hence why Smokey is the way she is. Steg is the physical representation of the father and son bond that they both share. That's all fusion is. It's not love, nor sex, it's just a bond. What is this voice that I'm doing? I don't know. It's like a cross between a British person and Alistair from Has-Been Hotel.
There's a continuity error where first Steve Gregg is able to fly and lift others into the air with what appears to be telekinesis, and you think that maybe it's just the fusion's special power, but then he starts falling out of the sky and Opal saves him by flying, which isn't something she's ever been able to do before, so just good old lazy writing.
Well, yes, the flying is Steg's power. I believe that it failing here is a metaphor for Steven, and possibly Greg as well, self-doubt about their abilities since his gem is fucked. They both have full faith in Opal, which is why they're able to fly and help him fly again by literally holding him up and giving him confidence again.
Most of the voice actors flub at least one of their lines, like they couldn't be bothered to do a second read.
Spinell, you might be onto something. If every experience they lost is a piece of who they are, if every experience they lost is a piece of who they are,
People don't always say things perfectly in real life, so saying that someone stuttered a bit makes the movie even more realistic. Plus, it wouldn't surprise me if the small stutter there was actually written into the script based on the context and what he's saying.
And Greg's voice actor fucks up almost every single thing he says throughout the movie, and I don't understand why.
I own a car wash!
How is that a fucked up line?
Really nice theme for a completely different movie. As usual, I'm left asking, who is this for exactly? The kids in the show's H demo can't really relate and probably can't even understand what this plotline is even about. And the adults who watch the show really shouldn't be watching the show.
You really underestimate kids' intelligence. Also, you're a fucking moron if you don't see the irony in making fun of people over 12 watching Steven Universe, which isn't even a bad thing because cartoons aren't only made for kids.
Did someone on set just get dumped and couldn't handle it without using this show to vent? Can no one on this production keep their personal issues out of this program?
Why do you assume everything in this show is a way for the Crewniverse to vent? You realize that they're just writing good characters, right? Oh wait, no, you don't like it when characters are flawed. But wait, you also don't like it when characters aren't flawed, so what do you want? You hold the show up to an impossible standard.
After Spinell's song ends, she instantly transfers her attachment issues from Rose onto Steven and imprints on him like a baby duckling.
That's, the point, dude.
Then Steven carelessly causes a misunderstanding that makes Spinell think he's about to delete her memories and attack him, because the writers realized that they just resolved the movie's central conflict before the actual third act, and needed some contrivance to unresolve it, otherwise the movie would end 20 minutes early. During their fight, Steven breaks the weapon, proving to Spinell that he wasn't trying to attack her with it, but the movie instantly ignores it even happened, and she just keeps attacking him because the movie can't be over yet, even after the central conflict has been prematurely resolved twice.
That's, again, the point. That's what mental illness does. It doesn't let Spinell believe that Steven isn't going to abandon her.
Also, it isn't clear if the gems retained their memories of what they were doing when their memories were gone once they get their memories back, which, if they do, would mean that Spinell was right there next to Steven watching him when he put her weapon in his pocket because he had nowhere else to put it, and therefore would know that he wasn't plotting to erase her memory, so yet another fuck up. Good job, everyone.
Classic Spinell probably wasn't paying much attention to what Steven was doing.
And then someone says the word truth, and the movie pretends like it's always been a central theme to Garnet's character, even though it really hasn't, and she finally gets her memories back, and then there's obviously a song about it.
To quote another random YouTube comment, well, I think the whole thing about the truth is because it continues and finishes the theme of Garnet's episode titles. The question, the answer, and finally, the truth, because not all answers are the truth. Oh wait, this comment was written by me.
It's also clearly indicated that she actually does remember something from her past, in spite of having her memories erased.
The memories are slowly coming back to her. It's pretty obvious that's what's happening if you pay attention.
As Steven spells out to us that the reason all the other gems reverted back to their normal state, and he hasn't, is because they experienced change, even though it's pretty fucking arbitrary what constitutes change in this movie. I mean, okay, Amethyst didn't change. She just hung out with Steven for a while and then magically got better, and the catalyst for Garnet to transform back to normal was that she heard someone say the word truth, and that somehow gave her a world-shattering epiphany. I don't know what's going on. Did Garnet have some sort of problem with pathological lying that she overcame during the show? I don't remember. I don't think so. It feels more like they just didn't plan this out. Amethyst just changes back because she changed back, and Garnet changes back after hearing the word truth because the script only had one draft, and near the end of writing, someone said, wait, we forgot to change Garnet back to normal. Quick, make something up. So they just made this up on the spot because they didn't feel like going back and changing parts of the script. I'm not saying that's what they did, but I'm saying it sure feels like that's what they did. Post-transformation having to do with change sort of makes sense if that's what you're going for, but Spinell makes the least sense of any of them because despite not having her memories throughout the movie, it's also clearly indicated that she actually does remember something from her past in spite of having her memories erased. Then she changes back to normal after singing a song about things that happened to her that she shouldn't be able to remember. So she got her memories back not by going through change. In fact, she re-experiences being abandoned by Steven like she was with Pink, which should have worked in the way that it worked with Pearl. So actually, she got her memories back by getting her memories back before she actually got her memories back,
even though she clearly already got her memories back, despite the fact she wasn't supposed to have her memories back. In short, Steven's realization that restoring gems is done by experiencing change makes no sense, because if you think about it, that was only true for one of the 4 people that got their memories back, so it's not clear how he came to this conclusion.
The movie never says that the reason behind the gems getting their powers back had anything to do with change. That's literally not what he says. Steven says that he grew by changing and that change is his final piece. He literally never says change had anything to do with the other gems. You are once again making shit up to criticize. And again, this probably came about because he never rewatched the movie to make a second draft of the script, which is ironically something he complains that the Crooniverse doesn't do. Make second drafts of their scripts.
The Diamonds show up and decide to take Spinel home with them, using her as a substitute for Pink, while she uses them as her new obsession, and that's supposed to be a happy ending, I guess.
This is what I say in one of these videos, and I wouldn't have to make mistakes like you choose, because I knew I would just have to say all this stuff all over again. So here we go. Don't use your show face as an outlet for your adult stories you couldn't put anywhere else, because all you'll do is hit the rest of the worlds. And this is a perfect example of why. Spinel clearly has abandoned issues. The guys clearly have issues with their sister. The forming an unhealthy co-parenting relationship is not a happy ending. This movie's slow music. Season 2 5 the right it is. Especially since this is the exact same problem with Pro. The thing about Pro, which is only love Pink, because she was asleep, which is important to. Somebody tries to the first song of this movie, we fall back to the exact same time, and Spinel fall right back to the role of the personal time. Program yourself to master never happens. And these things are happy because they universe. If you remember that on multiple occasions, just like the Diamonds abuse towards Pink, and the Rush was the main consequence of the scene contradict each other. So if you remember this fuck up, instead of attempts to course correct shows fly on the fly, you have to several times for someone on the last moment.
Then the message becomes that you should replace one abusive relationship with another, and that if someone is abusive, you should just give them someone else to torment, and if that someone else is an abuse victim, then they would both be happy. I know it's stupid to talk about abusive relationship subplots in a fucking children's cartoon, and I feel stupid for doing it, but it's even more stupid to actually put them in there in the first place.
Yeah, he's probably right about this being a bad ending rather than the happy one the movie tries to say it is. Up until the point where he starts talking about how cartoons shouldn't try to talk about these kinds of issues, as if kids are brain dead and can't understand anything that isn't Teen Titans Go.
Picture my booty up in 3D.
I think having these types of things in children's cartoons is a good thing because it encourages kids to talk about their problems if they have them, instead of bottling them up. Sure, this movie sort of sends the wrong message in the end, but it's still a good thing to teach your kids that your actions affect other people and that you shouldn't keep your emotions inside and you should tell people about them.
But it's even more stupid to actually put them in there in the first place. You invite this sort of criticism when you do this sort of shit. Even more so if you do it so badly.
I think trying to teach kids that bad things are bad is a good thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hypersensitive liberal with no writing skills who views any interpersonal interaction that I don't like as a bigoted personal attack. What a stupid sentence. Good thing nobody would use that as an insult.
Hypersensitive liberal arts majors with no writing skills who view every interpersonal interactions that they don't like as a bigoted personal attack. So what you end up with is a movie telling an audience of kids who probably and hopefully don't understand it that the best cure for mental illness is enabling it. Which is also what the show has to say about transsexuals. See, got that one in there right at the end. Had to put one tranny joke in there. Couldn't let it slide right at the end. Had to slip one in there.
Gotta love him using his outdated and I think offensive terms and what I believe is a slur against transgender people. Love this guy.
And then there's a strange out-of-place minute or so of them dancing on stage before the curtains close. And then that's the end.
The movie's opening has a stage musical motif, and that last shot is tying back into that. So yeah, that's the video. This one isn't as bad as his other videos on the series, but he still kept the same offensive humor in his videos that doesn't help his case. He makes a few fair points, but they're few and far between, and it's mostly either shitty nitpicks that don't make the movie worse, shit that's actually explained, or shit he just made up because he either wanted to make the movie seem worse, or he wasn't paying attention and just wrote it into the script. Then accuses the staff of being terrible writers. Overall, not the worst video he's ever put out, but he should try harder. But yeah, this is the end of the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also, pledge to my Patreon, you can get some pretty cool rewards. Alright, bye.
That's the end.